Fellow kin, is this on? Is this on? Fellow kin, Lonnie, are you around? Lonnie? All right, thanks. And Stephen Davis, or Davies, sorry. All right, thanks.
2-minute warning, fellow kin. 2-minute warning. Oh, as long as it's not poop, no photos. No photos. All right, sounds good. Awesome, thank you. Good afternoon, fellow kin. Hello. I know I'm short, but I'm not that short. Come on. I'm fun size. I like that. Good afternoon, fellow kin. Excellent. Good, good. I just want to let you know that our speaker program has been sponsored by the Kin Canada Foundation. And we are grateful for the support that they've given us for our education, and it's very inspiring for our convention. So thank you so much. Possibility thinking and banishing negativity. Anything is possible if you believe it can be done. President Terry, guests, and fellow kin. It's with great pleasure that I welcome our special guest speaker, Peter Sundborg, to the stage this afternoon. Peter has over 25 years of experience in the not-for-profit sector and charity industry. And since June 2011, he's been the executive director for the Barrie Food Bank. Peter's drive to engage the community, along with embracing possibility thinking, has led to the exponential growth in the donors to the food bank. In fact, the overall donor base has grown by 40% in the last 3 years, among many other accomplishments to the food bank. His passion in life is to serve others, which is a perfect fit when serving those in need and working closely with volunteers and donors. Peter will share how being a possibility thinker can be a game changer in your personal, work, and kin life. Family of kin, please welcome Peter Sundborg.
Thank you. Wow, I was looking around to see who was speaking. I'm wondering, who is this guy? Well, good afternoon and welcome. I hear you had some great projects this morning, and that went well. Congratulations. So, I just want to start off by asking this question. Do you ever wonder sometimes how you end up at a place? It's like this morning, I was driving here this morning. I drove from London to here. I drove from Barrie to London last night, and I was driving here this morning. I'm going, how is it that I'm ending up in Sarnia, Ontario on this day to do this talk? And I'm sure a lot of you are going, how did I end up in Sarnia? Period. Right? I mean, why are we here? But you know, I was thinking about, well, how come I ended up here at this event today? And I'm going to go back 7 years. In fact, I'm going to go back March 2011, when I got a phone call from Grant Farron. And at that time, I had retired from Scouts Canada. I was working for a company in Aurelia selling windows and doors and installing windows and doors, and really wasn't what I wanted to do. But apparently when you retire from an organization and you don't tell your wife that you're retiring, and you come home and you say, I've retired, and she said, no, go get a job. That's good. But I get this phone call from Grant, and he says, I'm going to send you an email. You need to look at this job opportunity. I go, okay. So he sends me this email. This is the job posting. This is all it said. Barrie Charity looking for a dynamic leader. Contact Michael Dick, 416, yada, yada, yada. I call Grant back, well, what is it? He says, I don't know. Call him and find out. So I said, okay, fine. So I did. And quite honestly, the rest is history. After 5 interviews and lots of discussions with the board members of the Barrie Food Bank, I was hired as their new executive director, thanks to Grant Farron. So thank you, Grant. So, I mean, Grant and I have known each other since he was 14 years of age. I have a pocket full of business cards. If you need any information, contact me later. I can tell you lots of stories about Grant. However, I would do that. However, vice versa, he has lots of stories about myself, so you won't be getting any cards. Simple as that. So imagine for a second if you could accomplish anything you wanted and you knew you weren't going to fail. Just imagine if you could go out and you're going to say, I'm going to do this and I know I'm not going to fail. Or if you could do what seems to be the impossible and get it accomplished. That you could achieve personal success to whatever level personal success is for you, and you knew you weren't going to fail. Imagine if you could just push the boundaries of impossibility to make it possible. Do you guys consider yourself solution-minded? I would think so, right? You are in a service organization that is, in my opinion, the best service organization in Canada. And I honestly don't say that lightly, because what I like about you guys is you are 100% Canadian. True and true. 100% Canadian. I buy Canadian, I live Canadian, I'm a proud Canadian, and you guys must be absolutely proud to be 100% Canadian as Kin Canada. That is amazing. So possibility thinking. Possibility thinking to me is simply an attitude. And the attitude is that anything can be accomplished. If we go back to 1920, there's a year that something really wonderful took place. And a gentleman by the name of Hal Rogers started this organization in 1920, sitting around with 4 or 5 other people who said, I think we're going to start a service organization. And I mean, I know there's a whole story behind it, and I'm paraphrasing, but I suspect that Hal Rogers was a possibility thinker. Do you think? Like, really? He was a possibility thinker. He is taking something, because he couldn't get into Rotary, he took it upon himself to say, you know what, I am going to start this organization on my own. And how did he have any idea that it was going to be more than one club in Hamilton at the time? Who knows, right? And were there naysayers? Absolutely there were naysayers. Whenever somebody does something different to move forward, there are always naysayers. We'll get to the negativity part in a second. But man, you got to be proud of Hal Rogers for coming up with this concept. And today you are 6,000 strong. It's phenomenal. How proud would he be of what you guys have accomplished? And ladies, I use guys as a generic, I apologize. But how proud would he be to know that? 98 years young, correct? 1920, 98 years young. 100th anniversary next, like in 2 years, 2020, 100th anniversary. That's amazing. Did anybody ever think that it would last 100 years? Were there people who doubted that we would be here in 100 years? I'm sure Hal Rogers didn't think that he was going to be here in 100 years, but who knows, right? I mean, he was a visionary. He was a possibility thinker. He was a person who believed that we could accomplish a lot. You guys are 6,000 strong. What do you believe in? And in one word, tell me right now, in one word, just shout it out. Who is the best service organization in Canada? Exactly. Well, that was 2 words, right? But sorry. But you raised $1 billion. You've raised $1 billion in your history. Graham was just sharing with me that you raised $18 million last year, $1.2 million for cystic fibrosis. Absolutely amazing. And everything that you raise stays local, which is phenomenal. I worked for an organization where you raised money and at one point and certain amounts of money went up and into this black hole. And nobody knew what happened to it. You know, and I think it's so amazing that you can raise money locally, keep it local, and serve your communities the way you serve your communities. So what makes you guys unique? This is where I want to challenge Kin Canada. I asked your president, Terry, current president, what makes you guys unique? And her response to me was fellowship, and we're a family, and we're together. And is that, everybody agree with that? I'm going to tell you what I think makes you unique compared to every other service organization in this country and in this world. You are 100% Canadian. People like that. And if you're going to broadcast something in the near future, I would be broadcasting that you are 100% Canadian and that you are possibility thinkers for the future. Because I believe that what you guys do in the communities changes people's lives. What I do changes people's lives in the food bank. And I'm going to relate to what I'm talking to you about with Kin Canada to the food bank in just a second. But I believe that if you inspire people and tell them that you are 100% Canadian, you are different than every other service club. And that's not to belittle Rotary, Lions, Kiwanis. They all do amazing work. You all do amazing work. But I think what makes you unique is you're 100% Canadian. That's what I believe makes you unique. So you're reaching your 100th anniversary. And the 100th anniversary can be an absolutely exciting time, isn't it? 100 years. I hope to live to 100. In fact, I'm having my 40th wedding anniversary on the 26th of August. I'm a guy. On the 26th of August, I'm having my 40th wedding anniversary. And I'm such a possibility thinker, I can't wait for my 80th. I'll be 103. I may be in a walker or in a wheelchair, but it'll be fun to think that I could be married to the same person for 80 years. Now, Grant knows my wife. He's already questioning, what was Janet thinking? 40 years she's put up with me. Just a tip to guys, when your wife makes you a really nice meal and you sit down and you're eating it, do not say, wow, this actually tastes good. 40 years she's put up with me. But your 100th anniversary can be something absolutely thrilling, exciting, and positive, and I know under the leadership that you have that it will be. Or you could get to your 100th anniversary and go, yes, we made it 100 years. And what happens at 101? You know how many organizations, businesses, charities go south after 100 years? Lots. And if we started to Google companies that have closed after 100 years because people get stuck on that milestone, don't get stuck on the milestone. Be a possibility thinker and think about, wow, where are we going to be at 125 years? Where are we going to be at 150 years? Most of us won't be here, just to clarify. But where are we going to be at 200 years? Because you have momentum behind you. Don't become complacent. And everything I'm talking to you, you'll see the connection in just a second, but don't become complacent. But I want to end with this on Kin Canada. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for caring for people in your community. Thank you for raising the money that you've raised, billions of dollars, which is mind-boggling to me. But thank you for caring for people who you don't even know is a true gift. And that's what you guys do every single day when you're working out in your communities. And I challenge you as you move forward, as we talk about possibility thinking and we talk about eliminating negativity, to look to the future. Not necessarily, don't look and say, well, we're 6,000 members today, let's be 12,000 members in 2 years. That's not going to happen. Don't even worry about that. What you want to worry about is how can we grow and maintain our future? What can we do to make a difference in the lives of people we don't even know? And I try to do it every single day of my life. So I'll share with you that, so thank you for what you do. Thank you for Mr. Rogers for having the vision and being a possibility thinker to think that he could start this organization, and to where you guys have taken it today. It's just mind-blowing, and I think you'll have an amazing future ahead of you. And if you can take nuggets out of what I'm going to tell you, what we did at the food bank, and apply it to Kin Canada, you'll be amazed at what you'll be able to accomplish. So I just want to share with you that I was born profoundly deaf. So I wear 2 hearing aids. If I take them out, it's like putting it on mute. Some days I do that. So if I'm having a conversation with you and I reach up, it's boring. But I was born profoundly deaf, and there's a story behind it. And so I failed school. I went through public school and high school. I was a juvenile delinquent. In fact, I was a professional juvenile delinquent. I spent a lot of time in the back seat of the police car, a lot of time with police officers at my door, and I got in a lot of trouble because I couldn't hear, and I didn't have hearing aids. So when someone made fun of me, I just beat them up. Just seemed like be the thing to do, right? And then I didn't learn anything in school, so I just created havoc in school. And so I think I failed grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. When I went to grade 11, I was born and raised in Montreal. When I went to grade 11, they came to me and they said, Peter, you are far too intelligent to be here anymore. So you should leave. So I said, okay. So I went home and I said to my dad, hey, good news. I don't have to go to school anymore. The school doesn't want me. My dad said, really? So he called him up, had a conversation. He said, okay, no problem. So he got me a job at BF Goodrich Tire Company, unloading train cars. The first train car unloaded was 2,000 13-inch tires that you manually unload. Believe me, I wasn't there a long time. All of a sudden I was back to school. I barely made it through. But I did get through school, and I met when I was 19, I met this lady, Janet, and Janet changed my life. I was a teenage alcoholic, pretty much drunk every night, and then met Janet and her mother, who basically transformed me and said, there's more to you than just drinking, and you need to get your life on track. And so with them, they helped me get into college, and I went as a mature student, and I aced college at 92% average for some reason. And yeah, it was great. You know? I still did not have hearing aids, but what I did was I sat in the front of the class, and I didn't throw paper clips at the teacher. But they don't like that. But when I never had hearing aids until I was 25. I couldn't read or write. I was a great faker. And what was interesting was I was working for Scouts Canada at the time, and I was supposed to read and write, but I couldn't read and write, so I would get other people to read for me, and I would ask the right kinds of questions so people would answer for me, and I kind of faked it. And then Janet said to me one day, you really need to go get hearing aids. So I got my first hearing aids, and she actually taught me how to read and write for 2 years. You know, so I tell you that story to tell you this. We went to a leadership convention shortly thereafter, and the speaker on the stage stood up and he said, if you are going to seek greatness, you must be a possibility thinker. I thought, wow, I got these hearing aids. It's like having a gift. You know, all of a sudden I can hear things, and it's a gift. It's like if you don't wear glasses and you put your glasses on, you can see clearly. I could put my hearing aids on and I can hear, but I didn't know what to do with this gift. And the gift was that speaker in Ohio who said, if you want to achieve greatness, you must be a possibility thinker. And so I went, wow, I just latched onto that. That was something I just grabbed on. I didn't even have any idea what it meant. I just thought, wow, that just seems like the right thing to do. And so I researched that whole possibility thinking thing. And one of the other parts of it was eliminate negativity from your life. And I thought, there's no negativity in my life. I watch the news every day, and I listen to the news, I read the newspaper. Where's the negativity? So what I did was I eliminated all news, television, radio, newspapers, for 2 years. And I waited for someone to tell me if anything happened. Guess what? Not one person came to me and told me anything about the news. So what that tells me is you don't really need to know the news. It's a great business. I'm sure a lot of people, most of us probably in here today, watch news, read newspapers or whatever, but most of it is negative and most of it doesn't help you. And if you're in the Toronto area and you open a sports section, man, it's always negative. You know? They got the Toronto Maple Leafs. Oh, are they a Leafs fan? Oh, hi, Grant. I got to be careful because I'm a Habs fan. So So let me take you back a little bit. So in 2011, I got hired as the executive director of the Barrie Food Bank. I had no idea what a food bank was. We once made a donation in Newmarket, and I got hired. We went through 5 interviews, 125 applicants, and all this kind of stuff, and somehow they landed on me. But in 1980s, food banks became like they were popping up everywhere. We were going through that recession. Some of you may remember that we had 22% interest rates. Unemployment was insane, and so food bank popped up all over the place. In 1994, the Barrie Food Bank opened. It was actually called the Community Food Foundation of Barrie. It was founded by 6 churches, came together, and they said, we need to form one food bank because these 6 churches had, each had their own food bank. So the clients, even back then, were all going to the 6th food bank, and they were using everybody that they could use, right? So they started this food bank, and today, 850,000 Canadians use a food bank every single month. 850,000. Yeah. Pardon me? So 850,000, and then in Ontario, almost 400,000 people every single month use a food bank. And in our particular case, in Barrie, 2,800 people use our food bank every single month. And, you know, when you think about 2,800 people using a food bank, some of you will say, wow, that's a huge number. And it is. However, in 2011, when I started, there were only 1,600 people using a food bank. So what that means to me is that there were 1,200 people who needed to use the food bank. And so when I tell you that our numbers increased, I'm actually happy they increased in that respect. So let's fast forward to 2000. Let's go back a little bit. 2008. In 2008, the food bank board, the food bank executive director back then became complacent. Remember I talked about complacency? They became complacent. The food bank was not serving the community. This food bank was going through the motions. And what ended up happening was that another food bank popped up within Barrie. And in Barrie at the time we had 2 newspapers. One supported the other food bank, one supported the Barrie Food Bank. We had media clash. It was a disaster. It was terrible because donors couldn't figure out where to donate anymore. And our donors numbers dropped off drastically in 2008, 2009. In 2010, the board of the food bank and the executive director at that time decided this is not working. And that executive director had been there 18 years, and complacency had set in. He was comfortable. He didn't have to do anything. It was just going to happen. Well, guess what? When that second food bank opened up, everything got blown out of the water. There was no other opportunities for that food bank to recover. The Barrie Food Bank was in turmoil. And so in 2011, they packaged out that executive director, and they put out a search for a new executive director. Lo and behold, I was fortunate enough to land that position, and today we're the best food bank in Canada. Now, I say we're the best food bank in Canada, but I have to kind of qualify it by saying that's self-proclaimed. At the same time, who is the best service organization in Canada? Yeah. Exactly. See? We're on the same page. So that's what I mean. So we have this new beginning. I have this new opportunity. I sit down with this board, and they're going, so Peter, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this happen? And you're going to change everything, and you're going to be doing this. And I'm going, whoa, hang on. So I said, good thing is you have a brand new facility which was an empty building, 10,000 square foot building, empty, nothing in it. 6 hot tubs in the back corner. And I thought, this is going to be a great job. Well, there's 6 hot tubs. How can you go wrong, right? No food, no refrigeration, no shelving, nothing. And so we had this little 3,000 square foot food bank, and we were moving to this new facility. The previous board had already secured that. My